because there's no question in my mind that what you talked about with players and players being involved, maybe three, if we believe what happened in Boston did happen, even though Don said it didn't happen. But Dallas, there's no question in my mind that the players were involved in what happened to Rick Bowness at the end of the season in Dallas. No question. And in Vegas. I mean, Bob, we had George on, and they were going through their due diligence, and they were finishing their exit meetings, and they were finishing their double exit meetings. And then 10 days later, Pete DeBoer got fired. And there's no question in my mind that the players' influence played a role in Pete DeBoer being removed from that job.
But isn't that the most dangerous thing that a general manager can allow to happen?
100%.
Because if you do it once, you are doomed to do it for the rest of your life.
Thank you very
much.
much.
And the players know that.
Right. And so does the guy you're interviewing for to be your next head coach.
Yeah, but but hold on, no, Kevin. Those guys are desperate to get into that club of 32. That's part of the issue in this.
Hell yes.
That exclusive group.
Yeah.
That's exclusive group of, I am a head coach in the National Hockey League. I will sell my soul to get that job, and then I can fix everything. Right. Every coach believes that.
Yeah, and let's not forget too, those jobs now start around what, $2.5 million a year, $3 million, and can go to $5-6 million a year. So yeah, it's very good territory. But your point there, Bob, is the greatest one of all. Once you've set that template, that's why to go back to your original question, what do they look for? Here's how I define both jobs. General manager, number one on the list for your general manager has to be, does he know who can play and who can't? Everything else, you can weave everything else into it, from marketing and drafting and everything else. You got to know who can play. So the question then for the general manager should be, when he's picking the coach, can he get the best out of this group? And then he's got to know what his group is. Is it a young group? Is it a middle group? Is it a senior group? But that's the job. Everything else, in terms of how they talk to the media, which I appreciate, X's and O's, can you get close to 100% of the team that I'm handing to you?
Well, this then speaks to, and we all know this, and this is something that happens every year, the copycat league that it is right now. If you look at, what my coach needs to do, gosh, he needs to be like Daryl Sutter. He needs to make sure the players understand their roles. He needs to understand that the players aren't driving the boat. And we need Daryl Sutter. Well, there aren't 32 Daryl Sutters. So now they have to go and find 31 other guys, or 31 or whatever job openings there are. So the question becomes, in a copycat league, who's the next Daryl Sutter? Is that John Tortorella, who has, for all intents and purposes, has a one facade for the media and another facade for the players, because players love playing for him for the most part. And where does he fit into this merry-go-round, this carousel? And that becomes, back to Bob's original question, is the coach needs to be able to squeeze every ounce of goodness out of every player, but understand that the players aren't driving the boat.
Look, to me, this issue of exit interviews is the most nonsensical, ridiculous, useless waste of time, does nothing but get you into trouble. Why a general manager or whoever else is doing it, sometimes presidents do it now. There's like 2 exit interviews. You get interviewed by the GM, and then you get interviewed by the president of hockey ops. Why would you ask one of your employees what he thinks of his immediate boss? I think that is the most absurd, ridiculous conversation that could ever take place. If you, as the general manager, don't know what
don't say it,
you know what is going on within your organization and what your coach's value is, then you ought to be fired.
No, because Bob, here's something that people don't.
There's no argument for this. Don't know me.
I am knowing you because here's the problem. And
both sides.
Bruce and Kevin have seen this multiple times. the pipeline from players directly to owners changes the whole dynamic. And we've seen this countless times where an owner befriends a player and then.
But that doesn't make it right. What I'm saying is that this whole system in the National Hockey League is effed up. And maybe in all of sports. I wouldn't give a rat's ass
I would tell
what
you
players think.
I would tell you good organizations don't allow it to happen.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Don't allow what to happen?
The
players dictating a coach's future?
Correct. Yeah. That's what good.
Then why ask the question? Why have the exit interviews? If you want to have an exit interview, say, well, how are the meals?
Yeah, well, I'm sure.
How was the post-game pizza? Was it okay, or you want more pepperoni?
Pizza.
The-
You
the
think
biggest
players get
complaint-
pizza post-game?
Bob, I can tell you with great certainty, the biggest complaint this year in Ottawa was post-game meals at the exit interviews.
There you go.